let's just wait for a couple of minutes for everyone else to join.
Recording in progress.
रिजवाना ज्वाइन नहीं करी?
Yeah, I mean, she's on the way. She will join. Okay, until that time, has everybody been able to complete the assignment? The second assignment which we had discussed last week. Okay, what about so has basically provided a solution. What about rest of the others? I do understand I mean, from the other guys, like especially the ones who have just recently got added to the batch, like Imran Bhai and Rizwana. What about you, Faizan Bhai, Siraj? Were you guys able to complete the assignment? Okay. Farina has also completed the assignment. What about the rest of the guys? Okay, I have done, but need to understand about month wala question. Okay. See the month wala question, right? Okay. So I mean, we are just expecting few more guys to join. Until that time, can somebody tell me how can we solve that month question? So basically, let me just I mean, somebody if want can share the screen and also I mean, make us understand what was the problem statement and what was the intended solution. Does somebody want to?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can do it.
Okay. The screen sharing is enabled. You can try now.
Share screen.
Yeah, we are able to see the screen.
Yeah, initially I tried with elif condition. So it was a bit lengthy code basically when I started with this, wherein I have named the month from January to December, and I've mentioned if I print Jan, then if I enter the name of the month as January, then print Jan has 30 days. So similarly, I was doing it for each and every month. Then eventually I realized it is a little like in terms of time complex, I mean it's a little lengthy and I could have made it short. So it took me some time to crack this, but then I then used elif condition, wherein I've given an input. For example, if name of the month is we have alternative months with 30 and 31st day except Feb, right? So then I've mentioned if month is equal to Jan or March or May or June, July or September, like leaving in one in between, then print 30 days. If month is equal to, like if I give input as Feb, then print 28 or 29 days, because it depends leap year or something. And then all the alternative months except like Jan Feb, if we leave that, then starting from April to June, August, October, December, then print 35 days. So if I run this code and if I give an input of, for example, April, then it will print 31 days. So similarly, if I do for Jan, it will give 30 days. I'm
Very
not
nice.
sure actually Jan has 31 days or 30 days, but this logic can be used.
Yeah, so this was the logic which I was looking for. So everybody understood the solution and also understood what was the problem statement. Okay, Siraj has basically, wait, let me copy it. Uh,
He has done similar to the one I did like first time, I think.
mhm,
This
Okay,
one. If month is equal to Jan, then print. If Feb is equal, then for each and every month, we have given print conditions.
yes, that sounds reasonable. Okay, so can somebody tell me what else, what more can be done for enhancing this solution? And if you have any doubts regarding the solution which Farina shared, do let me know. If you guys are like not able to follow what exactly she has done.
I've pasted my code here.
Okay, that's nice.
Oh, in fact, we could have done the third elif condition also. We could have omitted, no? If not, then 31 days. Like if none of the above condition is followed,
Well, what would happen if somebody didn't give proper month, like
then
month?
also it will come 31 days.
Yeah, that is why the last elif condition is very important, right? I will copy what exactly you have. Okay, let me share my screen. Can make all the month's name in one list. Are you guys able to see my screen? I hope so. Right. So this is a solution which Farina shared. So yeah, this is like the actual solution which I was intending for. Like if I gave like Jan, it will give me, although Jan has, I suppose, 31 days, right? Uh, and yeah, Jan has 31 days. So I mean, only the thing, but the condition itself is right. Uh, what more you could have done in this case, right? Here is
Return none if she fits. It will give an error like if it's not having any name.
like suppose if anything, this all this condition doesn't match, right? You can just say print else, the last condition else, which has print proper month name not found. So if I now type anything, then it will give me this. But previously, if I didn't included this, then if I like try to enter any month name, then it will give me nothing. So it is always, we should always also understand the edge cases any while developing any program, right? Like I mean, so we should also always keep in mind what could be the user behavior and what all exceptions and what all errors might come, right? So here we have combined multiple OR conditions. So basically any of the condition. So for the guys who have just joined this, I will explain you. So here what the problem statement was, a problem statement is basically that provided when the user gives you any specific month name, let's say January, February, March, or whatever, you just have to print or return the number of days present inside that specific month. right? So that is why we have used if elif condition, where we have combined multiple or conditions here. So basically this means that if month is equal to Jan, or month is equal to March, or month is equal to May, or month is equal to July, likewise it will print 31 days, right? Or elif, if month is equal to Feb, it is like 28 or 29 days. Elif month is equal to April, then it will print 30 days. And if nothing is able to satisfy the condition, then you should print proper month name not found. So if I say April, then it will give me 30 days. Now to basically rewrite this code in a more efficient way, right? What you can do, right? So what I could have done is this: we have learned month. I will first take the input from the user, like enter name of the month, right? And after if month, here comes the deal breaker. In, remember the in clause, the in statement which we had learned. If the month is present in let's say Jan, I will just copy this. I just have to wait. I will just find this and will replace it with place. Similarly, if I will basically print, let me create a function itself. Why to create a plain statement? I will create a function named as the last lecture we had learned about functions. Function is nothing but, can somebody tell me until that time what is function? What is a function? Can somebody tell me?
Command.
Function is a command. Yeah, it is a command, but what exactly does function do?
We run multiple times.
Okay, to run multiple times. Or why do you use functions?
To define what we are wanting to get an output, get as an output.
Can you tell me example of functions?
Input function, let's input, extend,
Hmm.
replace,
Okay.
print, delete. I guess delete. I don't think we did. Right? Remove we did, right?
Yeah, remove we did. Remove is a function of what?
List. We remove stuff from list, and we also removed it from tuples. I guess. No, tuples does not work. Tuple index and count solo. Count is a function. Length is a function.
Right now I have, so basically a function is nothing but, suppose if you want to do some operation multiple times, okay, like suppose this I have to run for multiple times, instead of running this entire program, what I can, entire number of lines, what I can do, I can just create a function similar to this. Here I have created a function named as return number of days in a month. So remember, I am naming my function or naming my variable as big as possible, as descriptive as possible. The reason being that we deal with a lot of functions, right? And the function name itself should be implicative of what exactly it is meant for. So by naming this function like this, I know that this function is made for it basically gives you the number of days in a month, right? So here and I don't need to take an input here because the input is being directly provided inside the function. Okay. Now I have defined this function. Now if I say return days in a month, right, it will automatically enter name of the month. I will, let's say Jan, say it return 31. If I say, let's say April, it return 30. If I say yabba dabba do, then it won't return anything. So here you can maybe return none. So here instead of returning none, you can just say proper month name not found. So if I say yabba dabba do, now it will say proper name, month name not found. This is how you create a function, right? This is how you create a function. And this is how, instead of like combining here, like the actual code which you guys have done, right? It included multiple OR conditions. Instead of like doing something like this, you can just concatenate each and every month inside this in and use the in statement. Like suppose if the month is present inside this, then return 31. If the month is present inside this, then return 30. If the month is, see here I am not using the in condition. Why? Because the exception only of having 28 or 29 days is only just for February. Any doubts in this, guys?
Sir,
Hmm?
can we use list if possible?
So here I have used tuple. You can also use list as well. List also supports this in condition. I have used tuple because as tuple, I mean, once I have created, it won't change. That is, otherwise it is the same. It will give you the same exact thing.
Can we use this condition if month is?
No, so is condition is different. Is condition, in condition basically is a in condition basically gives you whether this particular value is present inside this list or not. It gives you true or false, right? But is condition, let me give you a what is an example. If is condition a, let's say a equal to 10, b equal to 10. Now if you say a is b, then it will come true. Okay, if I change the value, it will come false. So what exactly is condition? Is condition is where is not, it's not a condition, it's a basically an operator to understand, to basically match the value of two variables. So I mean, you hardly use this is condition, but you generally use in condition a lot to check whether this value, whatever the month, whatever the value which has been inputted by the user, which is stored in the month variable, is present inside this list or not. Any doubts? Any doubts, guys? Shall we move ahead? Okay, you guys can try this out if you want. Okay. Okay, guys. I hope everybody was able to understand this. But yeah, just a reminder, guys, try to complete your assignments, try to do your homework. Otherwise, it won't make any sense. I do understand that most of you guys are working professionals and it becomes a little difficult to do it. But see, as I have said earlier as well, the more you practice, the more you will understand. That's the only criteria to excel at programming. If you are just relying on the programming which you are doing during the class, then you will easily forget the next week itself. So don't let that happen. Please do practice. Please do complete the assignment questions. This I have personally curated so that you revise all the concepts, whatever we have learned, and also apply your own logic to create your own programs. Okay. So today we will learn about Python advanced functions. Okay. So basically, what do we mean by a function? We have seen like the last time, right? Like we have seen what exactly we mean by function and all. But today we will see what are the different aspects to with respect to functions. Okay. Just a minute. Has everybody completed this? Okay. So now we will learn about what more you can do with respect to functions. Okay. So let's start by creating a function. Okay, a very simple function. I have I will let you know what exactly we need to do. We will and by the way, we will write a lot of logical programs, so be ready for it. So write a program to detect first reoccurring or duplicate character. Okay. So what you need to do here is let's suppose your test string is a variable which let's say that it is let's say apple. Okay. Now can you tell me what is the first letter which gets repeated in apple? Can somebody tell me?
P. P.
Yeah. So what is it? P, right?
P. Yes.
Because yeah, your voice is a little low, but yeah, your answer is right. That the first letter which gets repeated is P. How about if I say, let's say jolly, then what would be the first letter which gets repeated? You can type in your responses as well. It is L, right? So basically what we want to do, we want to write a program which can detect what is the first reoccurring or duplicate character. How about let's say let's say what else? Let's say solimos. What is the first character which is getting repeated? It's not S. What is the first character which is getting repeated? Yeah. So it is, I mean, as per the repetition, O is the first character which gets repeated. Although O here comes next, but then O is the first character which gets repeated, right? So basically, let's take a simple example. Let's say Apple, we need to find, okay, we need to find the first letter which gets repeated. Okay. So for this, what will you do? Like, how will you try to write a program? Let's suppose I want to define a program, define a function, like say detect first duplicate character. Now this thing will input, take an input as test string as an input. Okay. So here if I just return this a return test string, then if I call this function, okay, then say apple, then that is apple. It is like coming here, right? Okay, it is like coming properly. So here I have to write my logic. Think about it. How will you do it? So, I mean, you don't think about with respect to Python, like how will you implement in Python? Just think about, how will you do this manually? Like, what will you do? Just think about that.
We'd have to identify the characters going from, the very first one and compare it with the second one.
Okay.
So the moment it applies that the first and the second one are same, we can print the output.
Exactly. That's one way of doing it. That what you can do for each character, right? For each character, you just plainly say check with the other characters, and if the first character is basically present in the upcoming characters, like when you match it, then you can say that this is the first recurring character, right? Suppose if I let's say that is A, right? You will check A with P. You will check A with again P. You will like yeah. You will check A with L. You will check A with L. Sorry, E. So is there any repeating character here? No, right? Like A is not getting repeated anywhere here, right? And then this is for first iteration. This is for first iteration having first word, which is A, right? What will be my second iteration? My second iteration having second iteration with second word. What is second word? Is P, right? You will now compare P with A? Will you now go backward? No. Why? Because we have already compared A with P, so there is no need of comparing A with P. So what we will do? We will compare with the ongoing words. I will compare like P with the which is ongoing word, which is P. Right now, since you have got the true condition, right, and then you will just return output. That return output as P is the first letter, first duplicate letter. Everyone is able to understand this? Any doubts? Any doubts on this, guys? Is anyone not able to understand this? Does this make sense, by the way? So this is my manual logic, like how will I compare? How will I compare this, right? So don't worry, don't get demotivated that, okay, I mean, the programs are little complex and everything. No, it's not. You just have to practice. Okay, the more you practice, the more you will understand, right? So yeah, so now we have like thought of this logic. Now it's just a reason. It's just basically we want to understand. We want to implement it, right? So what I will do for character in since I have to do iterations, right? I have to do basically iterations. So for character in range of length of test string, right? What I will do, I can say index. Okay. What I will do, if test of string of index equal to test of string index plus 1. Now, can somebody tell me why I'm saying index plus 1 here?
Because the input will be variable, so we don't know if it is going to be apple or something else.
Yeah.
And index plus 1 is the next one in the index.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That if when I say index plus 1, so basically this index will start at 0. So test of, like, let's say if I have my test string as apple, like as I have here, right? If I say test string of 0, right? It is nothing but A. I'm comparing with the string of index plus 1, which is nothing but 0 plus 1 is P, right? So what I'm doing, I'm comparing like this, a string of 1. It will just basically give me true or false. And then I will move ahead with a string of 1 equal to test string of 0, right? I will compare it with test string of 2. It will give me false. So if I print this test string, what exactly is wait. See, A and P doesn't match, right? So similarly, I will compare 0 with every other character. Like it will, let's say 0 with 1, 0 with 2, 0 with 3. Understand? So what exactly here, what we're trying to do is nothing but I'm trying to do it here, right? So if you can see, for the first character, the test string, the index doesn't change for until and unless we get completed until E, right? And then it matters. So basically here I will be writing 2 for loops. The first for loop, right, it will be index, and the second for, let's say I will say I. Yeah, instead of index I will say I. So wait. So second for loop will for I in range of length of, it will start from I, range will start from I, and just be with me, okay? Don't think that it is getting confusing. Okay. See, I will tell, or I will just print it first instead of just this thing. I'll just first show it in print. Print test string of I, and then test string of J.
I will change J into I. It's for J in the range, actually, the first character.
Okay. See,
Okay.
it is going like, if I want, like I can even add something here. See, this was comparing A with, and even I can like have, for after completing one iteration, I can even print new lines. This is how I print new lines. Okay. So see, this is the first iteration. The first iteration, the second iteration, third iteration, fourth iteration, fifth iteration, right? So see, first iteration, it basically starts from, it compares, like as we have seen here, it basically compares A with A. But do you think that A with A comparison is required? It is not required, right? So we can skip it. We can say I plus 1. So now it always will compare with the second most character, right? It will compare with the second most character. Okay, so see, this is how exactly we have printed here, right? Any doubts until now?
Just repeat the logic once.
Okay.
Not the manual one, code.
Code, don't worry. Code as of now are see what we are doing here. I have written first for loop. Okay. If you just go ahead with the first for loop, if outside of this, if I just say print test string of I, then I will just get apple, right? Now what I have done inside the for loop itself, inside this for loop, clear until now? Any doubts until now?
Shadir bhai, sorry, I'm not able to recall it. Why we are using I, testing I?
Yeah, Fauzan bhai. So yeah, this is I mean, I'm not like mocking or taunting anything, but yeah, this is why I say that, you know, assignment is little important, because then you remember all these syntaxes and you get to know, get to understand everything very clearly. But yeah, so but let me give you a reminder, like what exactly here for I is basically we are creating a variable which can represent the index which is coming out of this range. So every yeah. So if I say range, so I say list of this, then these are nothing. This is a list, right? So if I just say print I, then this represents in each iteration, it will basically represent one
Individual characters.
number at a time.
Yeah.
Now, if I don't say print I, instead of let's say print test string of I, right? Then whatever indexing the test string, like which is nothing but my apple is my test string, right? So when I say test string of 3, it will represent that specific character. See. Any doubts until now? And also like
No, thanks.
like you can ask as many doubts as possible, but just make sure that you understand it properly, each and everything. Okay. Now after this, what I have done, I have just, instead of just say I, because since now what I want to do, I want to do comparison, right? Now I can't do the comparison in one for loop itself, right? Can I do the comparison in one for loop itself? Like I want to compare each character with the other characters. The other characters which are present after that specific character. So I can't do that comparison within one for loop, right? Because one for loop will only be used for iterating over the string one time. It cannot be controlled as per our own manual logic. So for implementing this manual logic where I'm comparing A with the other characters, that is why I have to introduce one more for loop, okay, where I am saying that, see, one more for loop, I can say it is here, for j in range of, okay, understand this, for j in range of, it will start from I, whatever the index is of I, It will start from over there. I will explain you why it is present as I to the length of test string. If I now say print test string of J, or let's say even if I do something like this, okay, and if I omit this, right, you will see, and for more further clarification, let me add this. So you will see now that for this comparison operation which we are trying to do, right? This is for A. We are comparing with all of the rest of the words, characters. And once A is done, then we move along to P. Then P will get compared with the other characters, and it won't compare it itself with P A. Why? Because we have already done the comparison A with P. So there is no required comparison for P with A. Right, so it will be compared for P. Now P will compare with the rest of the characters. I will compare with the rest of the characters. E will be compared with the rest of the characters. Right, now you might ask me the reason why. Because this range is starting from I. Remember, I is the current index at which the first for loop is running. Okay, so it will basically start at 0. So at first you are telling that, okay, since it is the first character, I want to compare with everything. But as I increments, I basically increments as in I adds up with 1. Now the I value is 1. Now it will go from I to 1. So if I say test string, okay, test string of 1 to end. So it will say PPL. Now we just want to compare P with PPL, right? Because we have already done for A. So that is why here 1 represents for the first iteration we have omitted A, we have omitted, and we have continued with PPL. And the second iteration, since we only need to go from the next P, that is why we will go ahead only comparison with the main character. That is, let's say this is the main character. ये अपना hero है, and this is the comparison which is happening. So see, this is the main character, and this is the comparison for that character. This is the main character, this is the comparison for the character. So basically, as we move along, we are neglecting the first character what we have completed, because the reason being, as I said, that once we have compared A with P, there is no need of comparing P with A. I know it is a little difficult at this right moment, but any doubts? You can have all the doubts, and I am happy if we clear each and every one of you guys doubts, and like I can dedicate this entire session just for making you guys understanding this. It is very important. See, code is difficult. The reason, because you are seeing it for the first time, and whenever you see something for the first time, it will seem very what I can say, difficult. But as you go along, as you basically do the assignments and do the practice, and as you go along solving more problems like this, it will become the new normal. So don't worry about it. The first time, obviously, even I took like more than 1 week just to understand what exactly is happening, all this. Like I tried many programs just to make myself comfortable with this. So don't worry about it. And in real life as well, you don't need to write like all of these programs. This is just for your logical purposes. These are the questions which might get asked in interviews. So that is the reason why I'm emphasizing more on problems like this. But in real life, you won't be able, you will be like simply doing programming. But yeah, but I hope you guys understand this.
Shadir, I want to know How it is repeating it like for each character. We are not putting separate program for repeating it.
This one, huh? Like for main character, and why it is repeating for A, P, like this.
Yeah, no. For the A, it's okay. Then again from P, it's repeating. From again the P is repeating.
Yeah, those so
How it is repeating it?
the reason why it is repeating is because here the first for loop, right? The first loop which is having the main character, okay, will go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, how it is repeating is for the first main character. If you see the first main character for A, right? It doesn't it and then it goes for the second loop, second for loop. Okay. So until and unless this second for loop gets completed, the A will remain the same. The A is coming from the first for loop, and this APPLE is coming from the second for loop. Similarly, as soon as the first for loop gets completed, the now A will get increment to P, which is, and then P will do the comparison. The first for loop is basically responsible for printing the main character for which we need to do the comparison for. The second for loop is doing the actual comparison. First for loop is just for getting the for getting the main character, like as you can see the main character, right? And the second for loop is just is the one which is comparing. Any doubts? I mean, be very frank, guys. If you don't understand this, do let me know. Don't hesitate. I know it will be little code wise or logic wise as well. It will be little like you, I mean, until and unless you try it out, you won't understand. Can you guys try this out? I will also show you the very simplest solution after this, and then you will tell, if this was so simple, then why did we, do this entire first loop, second loop, and everything? But yeah, this understanding this is very important because there are multiple ways of solving it. But yeah. And do let me know if you guys have any doubts, okay? Any doubts, by the way? Everyone understood Saud, Siraj, Fareen, Faizan Bhai, Imran Bhai? Are you guys able to understand this? You can reply on chat.
I got the logic, but I'm not getting outputs for some reason. Like even after copying things.
No,
Well, then
don't.
can I quickly share my screen and we could look into it?
Can you share the code on the chat? I will just directly guide you.
Like I did not get both the outputs, the initial one and this one both.
Just share the code on the chat. I will tell you what's the.
Okay. So it's your code only. I don't know where I'm messing up here. Chat.
Yeah, so the reason why it is messing up is because as I mean, this is a beginner mistake that is completely understandable. So the reason is because if you see in my code, the for loop, the second loop which is coming here, so that is how
Okay.
it will come after one tab separated space. That is how Python will know that this loop is a nested loop. That is, this second
Right.
loop is coming inside the
It
first.
runs inside the right.
You just like do this. You just get this inside the first for loop. Okay.
Whole thing.
And if you just like have this, okay, and also there is like this thing, small mistake. So if you see now, it will, and this is backslash, not this one.
Mm, okay. So backslash.
The one which is upside enter.
Yeah, I got that. So
So like programs for like this, right? I mean, you have to print a lot of things, and this is like I still remember the first question that from someone, I don't remember who, but like, why are we even printing stuff? Like, why are we printing? But this is the main reason. Like, printing helps in a lot of stuff because you know what exactly is going inside. If you don't print it, then you won't know what exactly is Python processing. So the Python print function is why it is used for debugging. When I say debugging, it mainly the intention is to understand what exactly is going inside Python when we run it. Any doubts? Again, I'm telling guys, don't be hesitant on asking doubts. It's okay if you don't guys follow it for the first time. I myself didn't make it for the first time, so it's completely fine. If you don't understand it, ask the doubt. Don't hesitate. Like, you can ask, okay, let me ask the question. Like, if everybody has understood it, what would happen if I remove the I in the second for loop? If I remove the I here, what would happen if I remove the I here in the second for loop? Can somebody tell me? Come on, guys. You don't have any doubts, right? So this should be pretty easy. What would happen if I remove the I here and run it? What would happen?
it would not have the first value to compare, the initial value,
It would not have the first value.
initial A value to compare.
Yeah, right now also it doesn't have that A value. Like, it starts from the remaining characters. It doesn't go with from the start from the A itself. You are close to the answer, very close to the answer. Now I'm pretty much pretty sure that now everybody would be thinking, oh my god, programming is so damn difficult. It's not. I mean, chill, guys. Don't overreact on things like this. Since you are learning it for the first time, it's pretty common. I mean, but again, practice is the key. Like, the more you do problems like this, the more you will easily understand on the like edge of your fingers. It will be like that. Anyways, the answer, Imran bhai, what you are assuming is right. That suppose if I remove I here, what would happen? Now you see the main character is P, A, and its main character will remain the same, but the comparison is happening sequentially. That is, or the first comparison happening with the entire string. Second comparison, it is omitting the first letter. Third comparison, it is omitting 2 letters. Third comparison is omitting 3 letters. Fourth comparison is it is omitting the last 4 letters. But if I remove I, it will compare each main character with the entire string. It won't omit.
Got it. Yeah. And it will never match then, right? Like A against Apple, you're saying.
Yeah, it will match. It will match. That's not really. It will match here. But I will tell you why this isn't a good solution. It isn't a good solution because technically speaking, you are now doing more comparisons, which is not required. Like here, since we have already compared A with P, right? We have already compared A with P. Is it required to compare P with A? Like I have already compared 1 with 2. Is it required that I need to compare
No.
with 1? No, right? So yeah, so you're doing more comparisons. For a simple task like this, it is okay. But assume that you are running this program for, let's say, billion of data points. Then even saving small things like this will matter a lot. So this is the implication of removing I. So that is why I here is important. In fact, not even I, if you see here, we are comparing A with A, which is not required. You cannot compare A with A, right? You have always to compare A with the next word. That is why I plus 1. That is why here also I have written I plus 1 here. I have written here. But if I say I plus 1, then it will omit the A first, the letter, comparing it with self. Also right here, I plus 1, so that character doesn't compare with itself. P, since the second letter itself is P, it is comparing, otherwise it won't compare. P with L with E. And do you think E is the last, this thing is required? You can, okay, I mean, if you guys, let me tell you, if you guys have been able to understand this until now, then you definitely receive a huge round of applause, because it is not digestible by everyone to understand it at first go. It is a little difficult because now you are dealing with multiple for loops and different logics, different variables, I and j, what all this. I mean, yeah, it is a confusing, but yeah, if you understand it from this technical point of view, this is what we are doing. This is what the manual logic. This is what we are trying to replicate in our program.
Shadir, I'm still not getting this I and J.
Yeah, I know. any other one? Someone else who is still not getting this I and J? Or rest everyone were able to get it? So I will show you. I will exactly show what is the funda with I and J. For I in, let's say, range of, let's say, 0 to 10. Print I. This is fine, Siraj? You understand until this?
Yeah.
Now what I'm doing, okay, this is I, right? Now what I'm doing, I am just introducing one more for loop, but this for loop, right? This for loop is inside that first for loop. Okay, this for loop is inside the first for loop. So that is why I am writing it in one tab separated space. For j in range of, let's say, I start with 11 to 20. Print j. Okay. Now what will happen? You see. And for clarity purposes, I will just, yeah, this, wait, See, yeah. So here, right, this is coming from the first for loop, right? This is basically coming from the, make it more precise. Okay. This is for the first for loop, right? Okay. This is first for loop. This is I 0, 0 is from coming from which for loop? I is the value of I. If you see the range of 0 to 10 belongs to which for loop? Siraj, can you tell me?
For I,
I. The values which are coming between 11 to 20 belongs from which for loop?
this is for J.
Which is J, I and J, right? Now, the first for loop, it starts, it gives you the first result, which is 0, right? It gives the first result, which is 0. And once it prints this statement, okay, once it basically prints its statement, what would happen, right? What would happen is it will now go to the second statement, which is nothing but again a for loop. Okay. Now this J for loop will print from 11 to 20, actually 19, because 20 minus 1 is 19. This is the range function which we're talking about. So it will always subtract -1 from the last digit and it will give you the numbers until that. And that is why it will print 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And now this entire section of code has been implemented for just one iteration. That is the iteration where the first for loop value was, the I value was 0. Similarly, it has now ended for 0. Now what it will do, it will now increment the I value 0 to 1. Okay. Result from first for loop is 1. And now it will print this. Now the value is 1. After printing the value as 1, okay, then again it prints for J in range of 11 to 20. That is why 1, and then again it prints everything. Similarly, result from second for loop 2, and then again for loop for J, it will print everything. 3, print everything. So even though the first for loop, since the second for loop is inside the first for loop, the I value will increment only one time. I mean, it will obviously increment only one time, but the second for loop will basically increment the entire time until the second for loop gets completed. Yeah, it is like inception. It is basically it is inception itself. That is like you basically call the first for loop and then the second for loop. So it is, see, think about as this is your first statement which gets executed. The entire loop is nothing but your second statement. So for every I value, which is like 0, right, it will execute this entire thing, right? It will execute this entire thing. But the only thing here is, here in the statement itself, you are getting an entire loop. That is why every time this entire loop gets executed. Nine, which is like the range function which ends here and then it prints. Any doubts? Siraj, were you able to understand this? or still doubts? No worries. I can explain you. I can explain you much in a more detail. See, don't worry. You just have to try it out. Can you guys try this out as well? Remember, the second for loop has to be inside the first for loop. Then only because if I don't, then you won't get the output. Okay, let me. If I do this mistake, then you will just plainly get this. Only like the first for loop will get executed. The first for loop will get like that is why the first for loop will get executed, and then the second for loop will get executed, and that's it. So it has to be inside it for this kind of behavior, for this inception kind of behavior. Any doubts, guys? Any doubts? Faisan bhai, are you clear on this?
Yes, by trying.
Hafseen, are you able to understand this? So did you get it? Be responsive, guys. If you have any doubts, please do let me know.
Hi, so below the J wala loop, if I want to add an if conditions, stating that if I is equal to J,
Hmm.
I'm not getting the command right. You know what?
It would be
The
something like
commas and things like that. Yes.
after this, what you just have to do is, let's say if I equal to J, then you can say,
Okay, I'm missing that thing. Okay, fine. I got it. Now that two comma thing I was missing. Got
yeah,
it.
print,
Let me try that.
let's say both numbers match.
Okay.
But here
We have a different example. Right?
it won't print at all. Why? Because we are starting, the range itself is very different.
For I equal to J. I mean that string wala apple wala example. So do I need to change something?
Yeah, so in that you need to change.
That I will have to go inside a bracket over.
Yeah. So here what you have to do is like in the apple wala example, like okay, I will do it here itself. That
Under the for loop, right? No.
under the second for loop,
Okay, below the printing. Okay.
the string of I equal to test string of J, then say print, then you can say print
Match is found.
match first duplicate first
Yeah. First duplicate match is found.
get match is
Test string equal to J. Okay, got it.
see here it will as the comparing for P and P, it will say first
Yeah.
duplicate match is found, otherwise it won't find anything else.
Right.
Now you guys may all wonder, that is the reason why engineers at I mean this is just again not that I mean, by the way, this question was asked in Google. Okay, I mean this question was asked in Google interviews. And you have to come with the solution on the spot. Any doubts, guys? Shall we move ahead? I want a yes from everyone, and then only I will move ahead. Shall we move ahead, guys? I don't see anyone responding. Okay. So this would be my final function. In which I have to return the test of I. And then that's it. If you do not do anything, then return nothing. Yeah, that's it. So now if you see, it will give you the return character P. If let's say now I have defined this, put this into a function. If I now let's say put like Solomos, then it will give you O as the first recurring character. Can somebody else tell me what any let's say Farine? E would be the answer, right? This is nothing but your answer, right? Answer is or if I want to print this. If I say Siraj, then will you think anything will come up? No, because there is no repeating character, then it won't come up, right? Yeah, so there's not written, I mean not. Yeah, even you can do it with break as well, but break, remember here break will only break for the first for loop. It won't break for the second for loop. Sorry, break will basically break for the second for loop, but it won't break for the first for loop. Why? Because break is only applied for the second for loop. Okay. Yeah, let's say killer. Then L should be the one. Match found is L. Then if you say Chinese, then E should be the one, right? This is how you write programs. Any doubts until now? Or shall I give you the simple solution? The simplest solution. The simplest solution is what I will do instead of doing this double comparison. What I can do, let's say my test string is, let's say, apple. What I will do is I will create a let's say string list, string empty list. Okay, what I will do is I will go along putting each word inside that list, and they will compare whether the next, before putting the next character into that list, whether that character is already present inside that list or not. If it is present already inside that list, that basically means it already has occurred. Since it has already occurred, that would be my first repeating character. Like what I would do, I would say basically A. I will check first, check for first letter, check for first letter A, right? And I will see, oh, sorry. If A is present inside string list, answer is no, right? And then what I will do, I will know, right? If it is no, if it is not present, then I will know, then add it to string list, add it to string list. Okay, and then this is my first step. My second step would be check for second letter P. Okay, if P is present inside string list, answer is no, then add it to string list. Now I will check for the third letter, check for third letter P. If P is present inside string list, what would be the answer? What would be the answer for this third check? Third letter check?
It's available.
Yeah, it is available. Yes. So this condition will return as true. That is yes. Then return P as the first duplicate character. This is my easy logic, which involves only one for loop, no two for loops, only one for loop and one additional string list variable. Now, how we will implement this? I will take the same exact function, right? Right. What I will do, I will say, I will first take in, I will initiate a first string list, empty list, string empty list. A list basically which does not contain any data, right? What I will do, I will check for, I will first write a for loop for character in. Now here I won't use range. Why? Because I don't need to do indexing or anything. For character in test string, right? If character in, this is like if present inside, right? If character in string list, then just return, basically say that character is the first repeating character. Else, if it is not present, then just add it to the string. How will I add it to the list? How will I add it to the list? What function should I use?
Append.
Yeah, append this character to the string list, right? Now let's say I will say print checking for character. Okay. Now if I again run this exact same thing here, see, in the Chinese it is able to find E. If I say apple, it will only run for like the last two characters are the duplicate match, right? So if you like also if you want to like print the string list after as well, you can also print it. Like if I take this outside, let's say, okay, and let's say my string, yeah, you return, just say print character, and then you can just come out of the loop by using break. See, since my test string is apple, it is doing, and then if you check the string list, you will see only A and P inside the list. Now let's say if I change the string list to test string to, let's say baggage. See, this was way too simple, right? As opposed to the first one. But you also have to know what are the pros and cons of doing it this way. Here you're introducing one additional list, which basically will consume more memory. Like it can consume the space complexity that basically you are creating additional data. So here the memory, the RAM memory consumed by this program will be more. But here you're not using, in this case, you're not using anything. You are just using the test string itself and using indexing for doing it. But I'm very pretty sure that you will like this solution. Am I right or not? Because it's obvious, it's way too simple. Any doubts?
Empty string is created for what reason? I could.
The string list.
Yeah.
This is an empty list. So
Yeah.
empty list is created so that you can then only after creating this empty list, you can then add the characters and then use that empty list to add the characters as we go along, and then check whether the upcoming character is already present inside this list or not. How many of you guys were able to understand this? Be very frank, guys. Okay, Saud was able to understand it. Anybody else? Nobody else understood this?
I got it. I'm just trying to experiment, like play with this.
Mm-hmm. So basically, we create a temporary list. Okay, we basically try to create a temporary list in which we can store the characters. So what our agenda is? Our agenda is that given a string, we have to check what is the first character which is getting repeated, right? So you first basically define an empty string so that you can add, okay, you can add all the characters which are not duplicated, which are unique, right? Which are basically unique, right? So you will check for the first letter. You will check whether A is present inside the string list or not. Obviously, it is not present because A is the first letter and your string list is empty. So it is not present. And since it is not present, you will add that letter A in your string list. Okay. Now you will go for the second letter. In the second letter, you again will check whether P is present inside string list or not. So once you decide that, so once you check whether now the string list current value is only A, right? Only A. You have only added until here, only added A. I will show the demonstration. And you will check whether P is present inside string list or not. Is P present inside this string list? No, right? That is the reason why you will again add this P here, right? Now you will go for the third letter, which is P. Now, is P present inside string list? P is present inside string list, right? So that is why this condition will return true and you will return P as the first duplicate character. This is what I have implemented here. That I will say I will create an empty string list. I will, with the for loop, I will iterate over each of the characters. Okay. I will check whether that character is present inside that string list or not. It is present inside the string list or not. If it is present, then I will just print that character saying that I found the first repeating character and come out of the loop by saying break. If it is not present, then I will just go on adding the character into the string list until the character is found. Now, were you guys able to understand this? Any doubts? Faizan bhai, Siraj bhai, Imran bhai got it, Saud got it, I know. Fareen got it, Afseen got it. What about you two guys? Faizan bhai and Siraj, any doubts?
I'm not getting it. I'm processing it.
Okay, I mean, what exactly are you not getting? I mean, this for loop or the logic? Are you guys able to understand the logic? Okay. Implementing it in Python is something which your guys are not comfortable, right? Yeah, I'm so sorry to be telling you this, but that will only come with practice, and for practice you have to do assignments properly. So like, but are you getting like what exactly is going inside the code? Okay, okay. So see, the more you practice, the more then you will understand. But Siraj, are you getting the logic? At least the logic, like how exactly this is happening, Python wise, not just manual logic, but Python wise as well.
Actually, I'm confusing like for if function and it's going inside that each function is taking like for logic and then it's going inside the if function. I'm not getting it's getting confused for me.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Take it easy. I mean, it's the first time which you guys are encountering such complex conditions and everything. Like, so until now, we were like only dealing with only either if or for loop or if condition or while condition. So while loop at one point of time, like each one point of time. That is the reason why you were able to like get it. But right now we are like combining each and everything, whatever we have learned into one single program. So it will take a little while. Uh, but are you able to implement it? like do it on your notebook. Or can
For
you
now, I'm copy pasting right now. Later on, like I will see it
okay,
again. I will try
do
to
one thing,
understand it.
let's do one thing. I have an idea. Let's do one thing. You share your screen, okay, and be very frank about it. There is no like need to shy or anything. Share your screen and tell me where exactly you do not understand. It will be a also I mean it's not just for you but everyone, like we can like to get go together the code and like we can understand. Just share your screen and like let me know where exactly you think that okay confusion is happening, because this is very important for you guys to understand this logical programs and everything. Okay, so I mean, whatever examples we have seen, it was relatively simpler. That is the reason why you got it. But right now, as we go along, there will be more advanced things. So getting this is very important. If not Siraz, then somebody else who has the doubt can share the screen and let me know, okay, where exactly you guys are able to not understand.
Mute. By मेरा screen है Imran. ये so we define the function,
Hmm.
right? We define the function and you did an empty function, but I wasn't getting any results. Okay, I guess I'm not calling that function once after I
No.
define it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So, so the I mean the Python error handling, right? It is very descriptive.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So if you can see the error says that the error is on the line which in which you are defining the function itself, and it says syntax error where it is expect double dots are expected.
अरे,
No,
okay.
it's okay. It's completely fine. I mean, yeah, it
Right.
definitely takes some time to deal with all these
Yes.
errors and everything. But yeah, now if you
देखो,
run the function, you will get the output.
No, so how do I call this
Yeah.
function
Also,
that I've just defined here?
how do you call the print function?
So do what, like print?
I mean, you
Uh,
for calling the print function, how do you do it?
just type, yeah, just type print. So here,
Right?
what do I do? Test string? Test
Yeah.
string?
No. For calling now, what is the name of this function which you have created?
Test underscore string
No. Test underscore string is the
is a variable.
it is a variable which you will give that function give to the function. But
Okay.
what is the name? The name is detect first duplicate character, right? As you have said here, define detect first duplicate character. So the first detect first duplicate character is your name of the function.
Okay.
Now,
So now I am calling it
yeah, now you are calling it. Now for calling it, you need to give what do you need to give?
string list. Yeah, I need to give a value to it.
Yeah, exactly. So for giving it value, you will use curly braces. Sorry, round brackets.
Okay, so I paste this
Hmm.
and then I give a round bracket like I've given earlier, and you use the example baggage, right? So baggage,
Yeah,
and I also do this. Yeah.
exactly. Since you will be, yeah. Now run it.
Oh, okay. So define the function, then this is how you call it.
Yeah.
Okay, and
And
I guess that is why,
hmm,
because I shared my screen. Let me just
sure,
take you
sure.
to the start.
I mean, we can dedicate this entire session just clearing your doubts because understanding this is very important. Yeah, tell me.
Right, so how do I call this here? Okay, so the very first thing when we started today's session was test underscore string enter word, print. Yeah, okay, funny thing. Okay. Okay, I think I deleted that.
But
But basically, I wasn't calling the function actually. So I defined it and I wasn't really understanding how to call it. I got my problems answered. Chale. Thanks so much.
okay, sure. Yeah, Siraj, do you want to share your screen and let us, let me know like where exactly you are facing the issue, like, and don't worry guys, don't be hesitant. You all are learners here. So, by raising your doubts, you are actually helping each and everyone here. So don't hesitate on that front. And believe me, for me, for me, it's obviously very simpler because I have been doing this for the past 8 to 10 years. That's the only reason it is very easier for me. But yeah, but it will be it will become easier as you go along. You don't need to take 8 to 10 years. It will like just if you practice it for a couple of times, it will become easier. Yeah, Siraj, do you want to share your screen or should you move forward?
Shadir, you can move forward. I have to like uh, practice this more. I will understand. I think.
Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, we have almost like spent most of the time in solving questions like this, and that's pretty much okay. I'm comfortable until and unless you guys are understanding it properly and getting everything, then it's fine. Okay. So yeah, I hope you guys are able to see the screen. We have solved this one problem, right? So now I will okay, let's actually do one more problem and then we can end the lecture. I don't want more to be done. One more problem is, let's suppose, which is related to this only, okay, which is basically related to this. And this time I will give you and this time I don't expect you guys to do it because this thing is something which you might have not done before. So, but I will, unless I will give you the problem statement. The problem statement is, okay, that consider this, count the maximum number of character which gets repeated. So suppose if I say my test string is, let's say, baggage, right? What do you think which character gets repeated the most? Yeah, it is G, right? It is obviously G, right? Now, how many times it is getting repeated? 3 times, right? What is the next character? A, which is getting repeated 2 times, and rest everything is repeated only 1 time. So we basically have to get, okay, we basically have to get the most repeated character. Okay. Now think logically what you will do. So what you have to do is, like, you can do it. Yeah, I will explain you two two methods. The first method is very simple. Okay. The first method, you can say that it is obviously very simple. I will explain you that. Okay. Do you guys remember dictionary? What was dictionary?
To create our own database.
Yeah, basically, like you can say that dictionary is nothing but a collection of key value pairs, right? It is nothing but a collection of key value pairs. So for solving this, what I need to do, I need to understand that how many times a certain character has been repeated. So what I can do, I can create an empty dictionary first. Okay, what I can do is I can first logic. I will write logic here. I will say first step is to create empty dictionary. let's say count dictionary. Okay. Now, second step is to count each occurrences of character in entire string, right? So what I will do, I will use a for loop. Using for loop, check if, so ultimately I will just give you the solution. What I need to do here, I need to update the dictionary in such a way that this count dictionary becomes something like this, that which is a key value pair. Key will be your word, key will be your each character, and the value will be how many times it has repeated. B is repeated only one time. A is repeated how many times? Can somebody tell me? And then G, and then E. So G is repeated 3 times. We have already discussed. A is repeated 2 times. So now if I create this dictionary, right? If I'm able to create this dictionary, right? Then I can take the max value, and for whichever character is the max value, that would be my answer. Here, since 3 is the max value, and this value is for which character? It is for G. So G is nothing but my max value. Sorry, max number of characters, maximum number of characters which gets repeated. Any doubts in this point? Any doubts, guys? Everybody was able to understand this concept? Okay. So what for writing this in Python using for loop, I will go through each character. I will first check if that character is present for using for loop. Check if each character is present inside count dictionary. If present, like basically if character is not present, then add character and count equal to 1 into dictionary, into count dictionary. If character is present, that means that that character has already been occurred. Then increment, then increase or increment the value of count with +1, with count +1. So basically the count will increase. Like suppose what will happen, I will tell you. That test string is a test string, right? Count, and right now, right, I will tell you, let's suppose that this is the exact same thing. Okay, right, this is an our empty dictionary. For the first iteration, first loop will, first for character will come for loop. Okay, first it will check for B. Can you guys tell me whether B is present inside count dictionary or not? Come on, guys, be reactive. I mean, my throat is literally drying out.
No, it is not.
Yeah. Okay, so that this is, since it is not present, right? B, right? I will since it is not present, like check for B, right? And not present, then add it to dictionary. I will add here B and also add with dictionary with
Count.
value 1. Okay, 1. This is for the first iteration. Basically, here this is my first character B. Okay. Similarly, my second character, for second character, which is my A. Is A present inside dictionary?
No.
So A, and then I will also add 1. Okay. Now third character, which is G. Is G present inside dictionary?
No.
So I will add G here and then value 1. Right. Now fourth character, which is again G. Is G present inside character?
Yes. Like
Or inside the dictionary? Yeah, it is present, right? So what I will do 1 plus 1. The whatever the count is of G, I will take that G and I will say 1 plus 1, which is nothing but 2. Okay. Now fifth character. What is fifth character? Again A. Is A present?
Yes.
Then increment the A value with
GG value.
plus 1. Sorry, G value. Yes, thanks. Then so here count will be 2. Here A value count will be 2. Okay. Now what is the next character, which is again G, right? So the sixth character is nothing but G, right? Check for G. G is present, increment G. G value already it had 1 plus 1, which is nothing but 3, right? Count plus 1, which then the since G is present, the value now will become 3, and also for we forgot to update for A will become 2, right? And then the last character E, is E present inside inside count dictionary?
No.
No, right? So this is nothing but my seventh character, which is nothing but E, and it will basically will be same with this. Right, with value E, I will add here E with value 1. So now the string has ended, the for loop has also ended. Now the count dictionary is the final dictionary. Now what I have to do, I just have to see which one has the highest value, and whatever one has the highest value, that will be my answer. Any doubts on this? Any doubts? Shall we move ahead? See, this is exactly what is happening here. Okay, so very simple program, which is again like what you need to do is define, I'll say get most repeated character function, which will take test string as an input. Okay, I will here first create an empty dictionary. As I said here, I will create a first empty dictionary named as count dictionary. Okay. For now, I will write the for loop for character in test string. Okay. If character in count dictionary, okay, if it is let's say not in, okay, if it is not in count dictionary, then how do you add in inside dictionary? You can add using saying count dictionary of that character. See, if I like, I will tell you, this is my count dictionary, right? Okay, so if I print the count dictionary, it will come like this. Now, if I want to add one more, let's say I want to add one more alphabet, right? Then I can just say I, and I can give any, let's say 1 is my default value. I can give value. Now, if I again print the count dictionary, you will see that I has also been added. So here I is nothing but my character. So I will here count dictionary of character equal to 1, right? If it is not in count dictionary, if it is elif character in count dictionary, if it is in count dictionary, then what I will do? I will just increment the characters value with whatever it had count. Like suppose if I now check for count dictionary of I, it will give me 1, right? So here I will just say I plus 1, which will update the value by 2. So here I will just say count character plus 1, like this plus 1 wala thing here is what I am doing it here. Okay. Now, after updating the dictionary, right, after it is done, let me just first print the dictionary and show to you before writing the max wala. Okay. Now, if we say get most repeated character, if I say baggage, see, is it the exact same thing which we have done here? Right? It is exactly same, right? Any doubts until now? Any doubts, guys? Okay, everybody was able to understand this, right? So yeah. So after this, right, like this is I'm printing it. After this, now what was the next step? What was the next step? Just after for loop, third step is find the character which has the highest count in count dictionary, right? You can remember the max this thing which we had learned in the last class, like how do you find the maximum, find minimum number, find maximum number. You can apply the same exact thing here. Okay, find maximum number. You can just say comparing the number and everything, you can find it. Or since you have already done this, you can directly use the function max function. Okay, max alphabet. You can say that max number. Okay, so you can say max of what? Max of count dictionary. So if I say max of count dictionary, you will get directly G. Why do you get directly G? Because it knows that, okay, whatever maximum count it has, like suppose if I give A4, now it will, okay, so sorry, max of count dot values. Inside a list. Sorry. See, even I make mistakes. So what do you get here? Max of count dictionary values of, which is nothing but 4. So you can like say for count dictionary max of country dot values. So dot value, by saying dot values. So if you say dot items, you will get all of the everything. But if you say keys, you will get just the alphabets, which is nothing but your keys. If you say values, you will get all the values, right? So what here you can do, instead of writing, let's say, let's go by this method only. You can say for character and count in, okay, in count dictionary, okay, dot items. I will just first print the character before writing the logic. I will just say P. I'm just printing it out, right? Like V, A, G, and all that, right? So what I will do is I will check, I will create a, like what we have done here. I will create a current number max. Okay. I can even copy paste this entire thing here. Okay. I can just say okay, current max number. I can actually I need to current max number. Okay. So what I will do is I will find the current first. See if number is here nothing but it is count, right? If it is count, then your current max number will become this, and also your alphabet result will be an empty string. Okay, your result will become your character. Okay, now you just say return result. Was everybody able to understand this? I guess no. See, this is just an addition of the max number. See, current max number, what we are doing, right? We take from the dictionary what we have created until here, like until here, the dictionary what we take, okay? The dictionary basically will give you B, A, G, N and the respective counts. We are checking whether the count, okay, if it is greater than the current max number, which is currently at 0. If it is greater, then we update the current max number with the count and also the result, which is our most repeated character, with the current character, right? With the current character. And we just like how we do it with current max number, we just do it with the result, and then just finally we return the result, which is nothing but the final character which gets repeated the most. Any doubts now? You understood until here, right? And this is nothing but then finding the character with the max count. Yeah, sure. I have copy pasted the code. So now if I repeat, if I call this, let's say with any other, let's say sausage. Now here, even though, okay, I need to give small s. See, even though both of them have similar repetitions, you can say S. Why? Because S is the first one which actually comes in the picture, right? You can, let's say, sausages. And to like make sure that everything is in proper order, like a proper case, irrespective of case sensitive or anything, you can at the start of the function itself, you can just update the test string to test string dot lower, so that even though if you give capital S, right, or even if you give small s, or you give like capital S here, it will always be small s only. Any doubts, guys? Tell me honestly, does this look like out of syllabus for you guys right now? Or out of universe? Don't worry, I mean, it will take some time for that rocket to come into your universe, but it will surely come. All I request you guys is to practice. Okay. It isn't that difficult. It might look difficult, but I'm believe me, it is not difficult. Today everything passed my head. Okay, I will advise you guys to go through the class one more time, or try doing this, try why we are doing this, or like why exactly are we writing this and everything. So things will get a little difficult as we go ahead, right? Because if you want to learn, programming, and that too, like for programming which can help in your career, which can land you good jobs with good payment. There are so many people who know programming, right? Who can uh yeah, obviously, like for all the people who are like new to programming and everything, but uh my personal experiences that is so. I am right now in the Silicon Valley of India, like in Bangalore, and here even the chai wala knows programming, and that too much better programming than me, right? So it's typically like the competition is so high. I'm not saying that if you just learn programming, it won't be easy for you, but yeah, solving this kind of questions will get you more confidence, will boost your confidence, will make things very easier whenever you apply these things on your real life, in your career, in your jobs, while for interviews and all, like yeah, it becomes way easier. Your programming skills become sharper. But yeah, I completely understand today's class was obviously more complex in nature, because we solved some uh, difficult questions, some complex questions. But remember guys, as you practice it, everything will become easier. It's just like it's about practicing. The more you practice, the more you will get much better hold on this. See, one thing which you might want to understand is, if you understood the manual logic, what we have written here, right? If you have understood this, right? This is the main thing. This is actually the main thing which you need to understand, that how exactly are we solving the problem. Okay. But writing the syntax is something which will come for sure with practice. Okay. But understanding the logic, how exactly we are solving the problem, what are the different steps involved in it, and what all different elements are we using, which loop are we using, what condition are we writing. That is more important. Writing the program, or knowing how to deal with the data in and out and everything, with that will come with practice. But I hope everybody understood the logic behind it, what exactly we used for solving that program. Any doubts? So the implementation part will definitely come by
Sir,
yeah.
sir, for the last one, right? If count is greater than current max number,
Mhm.
current max number value is 0.
Yeah,
So every count will be greater than 0, right? 1.
yeah. We have intentionally kept it as 0, because by default your each alphabet will by minimum will have the value as 1.
So then for every time the if condition will be true.
Yeah, every time no, not every time, but yeah, literally speaking every time, yes. But it depends, because see what will happen, I will tell you in this case. Okay, first the count is 0, the current max number is 0. The current max number will get compared with this first letter, which is having 4. Now 4 is obviously greater than 0. Then it will go inside, it will update the count will get update the current max number. Now the current max number value will be 4, right? It will be now 4, and the result, the character will be S. The character, basically result will be updated with S. Now your current max number value is not 0 but 4. So that is why the next time onwards, even when we check for other conditions, is 2 greater than 4? No. That is why the if condition won't return true. 1, it won't return true. 1 won't return true. So this is how it finds the max number. So it doesn't necessarily will always return as true. It will only return true for the first comparison. That's for sure. Did you understood this out?
Updated.
Okay. Okay. Any other doubts? Are you guys? I have copy pasted this on the chat section as well. Are you guys able to understand? I mean, do it. Get the output. Okay. Yeah, so I don't want to wire your brain much further for today. So let's end the class for today. And yeah, and just ending message, don't get demotivated, guys. This all like this is like what could I say? This is the first step. I remember the saying that the first step is always the biggest step. The first step which you take is the most difficult one. But once you take that first step, once you understand this, then everything becomes way too easier. This is not under object-oriented programming. I was about to teach you guys object-oriented programming today, but I wanted to focus more on this problem-solving skills just to be, make sure that, okay, you guys understand how different things are getting used. So we will cover tomorrow object-oriented programming. So don't worry, the first step is always the biggest step. So don't get demotivated. Okay, I'm not able to understand. Yeah, like, oh, what am I doing? Is something wrong with me? No, not at all. You are absolutely fine. You are doing absolutely fine. It's just that the topic is a little more complex. Okay, it might take some time for you to understand, but it will only be helpful if you practice. Otherwise, it is a little difficult. It will be a little difficult. Okay. Okay, so thank you guys. Thanks a lot for joining in. I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, if you do get time, please do practice this once again, all the whatever we have done for today, and do let me know if you guys have any doubts. Okay. So yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye. Happy learning.